Hey there, everyone. Can you hear me? Sorry, had a little bit of a glitch to start, but I'm here and we're getting ready to start. Thanks so much for joining me. This camera ages me about 20 years, so we are not going to stay here long. We're going to my PowerPoint fast. Anyway, thanks so much for being here. I am so excited to share some information with you, lots of great information. And just to give you a little bit of background, well, let me share the slide with you and get the PowerPoint up here. We're actually, someone's got a request. I'm hoping you can hear me okay. That would be cool. Okay. Let me go back and make sure that you guys can hear me before I continue here. Could someone just send me a chat to make sure that you can hear me? In the top right of the screen, there should be, there's a panel where you can opt to chat. Can you see that? Okay. There's also about a 45-second delay between my screen and between what you're seeing. So I'll just continue here, assuming you can see the whole screen. Okay. Whoops. Nothing like giving you the last thing first. All right. Okay, 7 fatal financial mistakes business owners make and how to avoid them. And most of you, or some of you know me, but for those of you that don't know me, I'd like to give you a little bit of my background. I have been a CPA for a long time, so been a tax nerd in the tax field, international tax for a long time. So I have a lot of experience. I also got my CFP, which is a Certified Financial Planning designation in 2000. And so I have a lot of financial credentials. I also have been a business coach for about 12 years. And a lot of that was building a network marketing company. But several years ago, I also branded myself as a business coach. Because as financial and as technical as my background has been, I really have a strong passion and really have been a personal growth and development junkie for a long time. And I've also come to realize that we can know a lot of technical information, but a lot of what causes our success and helps us succeed in life is really an inner game. It's a really inner game work. And so I've also been interested in all kinds of energy related stuff and anything that has to do with spirituality. And so I've also had so much growth as a result of that. And so I will share with you some technical stuff, but I'm also going to share with you the other stuff that really is the crux of what is going to cause your success and help you become successful. There are a lot of other folks out there that can help you on the technical side, and I know a ton of them. So I have a lot of resources. My passion is just helping people more on the money mindset, all of the subconscious programming that holds us back. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too. Hopefully that's okay with you. Let me see. I also wanted to remind everyone not to worry about taking notes. I will make all of these slides available. I'm also going to upload or send you actually links to not just the slides, but some of the other material that I might be sharing throughout the presentation. So didn't want you to worry about taking notes, and it'll all be available. And let's see, anything else I want to say? And just so you know, too, if something happens technically, the replay will be available. You'll be able to have the replay. And you can also share it with anybody else that you think this material might help. Okay, so let's get started. Mistake number 1. And I also have to tell you, I've done these in ascending order. So mistake number 7 is what I consider the biggest mistake. So we're going to go in ascending order, which means you have to stay with me through the end. Okay, mistake number 1 is not setting goals. And it's amazing, actually, that only 3%, statistically, only 3% of the population has written goals. And it sounds like a small percentage, and it is. And in all honesty, though, I had not really set any goals until I started a business in 2002. And prior to that, my goals consisted of a coercion tactic by my employer to reach milestones. But my biggest goal, although unwritten at the time, was to get the heck out of my job and start doing what I love to do. So it's new to me too, but I've also learned how important it is, and also how important it is to set not just business and financial goals, but also personal goals. Not setting goals with dollar amounts in your goals. I'm always surprised when I talk to business owner clients that, I'll ask them where they want to be maybe in a year from now, but a lot of them don't have any money associated with it. It's like a standard question now that I have to ask, like, well, what do you want to earn at the end of the year? So it's important to have dollar numbers on that too. And not clear on the direction. The direction is actually pretty important, and it's a little different than actual goal setting. Direction is really the path you're on. And one of my main mentors is Christian Michelson. Love the guy. He's actually the one that helped me get faith in the fact that I could combine my financial background with all of my interest and everything else. And he had a great point, because he said, your direction, should be effortless. And if I should rephrase that. If you're on your right direction or going in the right direction for you, it really should be effortless. And goals are really kind of not totally necessary. I mean, they are because of the financial need in them. But honestly, if you are following your heart, if you're going where you're supposed to go in life, it's not that hard. Sometimes goals have this negative connotation. So getting clear on your direction is super important. And that's one of the first things that I like to help clients with. What do you want? This is kind of where we start for goal setting. It's surprising when you ask a lot of people, if you ask a lot of people what they want, a lot of them don't know, because they really haven't taken the time to think about it. And the sad part is that we kind of stop dreaming, don't we? I mean, as kids, the sky's the limit. We want to be anything we want to be. It's just really up to our imagination, creativity. We lose sight of that. Our conditioning starts impacting us. How we're raised can impact us. If you were raised in a home where your parents had, or maybe people around you had negative opinions about business owners or people that had money, that might impact you. Your environment is a huge part of how you're impacted. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but your environment is very effective, or destructive, I should say. It can be destructive if you're around a lot of negative people. So you always want to be around people that uplift you, that are supportive of your goals, that aren't naysayers. So that's important too. And something that maybe a lot of people don't really take into consideration when they're setting goals, because a lot of times we'll have monetary goals, or we'll have items, material things on our goals, like I want a new house, I want a new car, those types of things. But what's important is really connecting with the essence of what you want and why you want it, and the need it will fulfill, or the higher quality it'll express. And I'll give you an example. Let's say you're looking for a house, and I have a personal example with this actually. I love arts and craftsman bungalows. I really love them, and have one in Pittsburgh. And so I'm in Florida now. There's a lot of them around here. But I've come to realize that it's not going to maybe fit my needs. I dating a guy that's 6'4". He doesn't really fit in a lot of those rooms. So my point is that when you have something on your goal statement make sure that it's going to jive and fit with the essence of why you want that particular thing. You know, is the home going to meet your needs for entertaining, for having your family over, for having a great kitchen, maybe if you like to cook. So make sure you connect with the essence of why you want something and really get to the why of why you want it. So that's very important. One of my favorite books on this actually is, it's called Creating Money. It's by Sanaya Roman and Dwayne Packer. And I'll give you my book recommendation list too, but they really get into this, and there's a lot of worksheets and ways to help you kind of connect with why you want something and really analyze that. Are you sure? This was a funny clip I had seen on the Today Show, which used to be my main source of news in the morning, Today Show. And there was Catherine Sanderson was on there. She's a professor of psychology and teaches in New York City, and had done a study on, you know, what we think makes us happy and what really makes us happy. So on the list of what we think makes us happy are these things: education, money, weather, life events, marriage, children. But that's not really what makes us happy. And the reason that marriage has an asterisk by it, it was kind of funny. Funny for me. I'm not sure the guys will think it's funny, but marriage for a guy was, you know, a factor in making them happy, regardless of who they were married to. But for women, the big deal was who they were married to. So it had to be the right person. So I thought that was rather funny. This is what really makes us happy. So it's you know, a lot of times we think we know what makes us happy, but it's usually the simple things, and it's usually things that money can't buy. So as you're creating your goals and defining your life and what makes you happy, what doesn't, really focus on what does make you happy and really connect with that. So here's some goal statement musts, and I'll give you an example. There's an example coming up of what a goal statement might look like that has these particular items in it. So it needs to be specific. You need to have a date in it. You know, they always say that you know, goals are just like dreams, or how's that work? You have to have deadline in it. So they're just dreams if you don't have a deadline in it. And yeah, goals without deadlines are just dreams. That's it. They must be worded in the present. So you want to say, I am, or it is December 31st, such and such, because what that's doing is programming your subconscious that it's already here. You don't want to say, I will be such and such. Have a deadline, appeal to your emotions. So the more you can connect with anything emotionally, the better it is, because we really buy on emotion more than anything else. And be realistic about your goals. Here's an example. Goal statement example. It is December 31st, 2015. I am personally generating $500,000 annually net profits from my business. So again, it's worded in the present. It's got a deadline. It has a dollar amount. And then you describe, you know, what you want your life to look like. This is actually a great exercise. You can do this for so many years out and just project your perfect day. So it's a great exercise. And also a dream board is another fabulous way of helping your subconscious connect with what you want and drawing it to you faster. This is my most recent dream board. I actually had to make another one a couple years ago because everything on my old one had come to fruition. So that's pretty cool. This is fun to do with families too. If you have kids, it's always fun to do this with them, because as you're building a business or working on your own business, you know, if you put things they want on there, they're much more agreeable to letting you do what you have to do. You know, put a trip to Disney on there and see how fast they kick you out the door to go to work or to work on your business. So that's goal setting. And we're going to head into mistake number 2. Okay, mistake number 2, not understanding the numbers. This is up there when it comes to not being successful in business. It's one of the top reasons that businesses fail. Is because the business owners have no understanding of the numbers. And it's not that you have to be a financial whiz, and it's not that I'm not suggesting that you do this yourself either. By no means am I saying do this yourself, not to hire someone, but having some understanding of the numbers is very important. So what I thought we would do is I would take you through some basic financial statements just to give you a general idea. This is a balance sheet. And I try to keep it simple. This is a simple example. If you look in the top left, assets on the left of a balance sheet has two sides. The assets are on your left. The right has liabilities and owner's equity. So the assets are things you own. So in current assets versus long-term assets, current assets are things that are generally consumed in a year, within a year, less than 6 months. Long-term assets are types of assets that have a longer life than that. So they have a useful life longer than a year. So in the top left, you'll see cash, 32.8, accounts receivable, prepaid rent. And this is based on an accrual basis. There's two different ways to report earnings, on a cash basis or on an accrued basis. And most taxpayers, most individual taxpayers are on a cash basis, but a lot of companies are on an accrual basis. The idea of an accrued method of accounting is to match the revenue with the service on the income statement. So anyway, those are current assets. Those are in inventory. So those are current assets, things that would be consumed generally in a year or less. And then long-term assets, down below, you'll see leasehold improvements, less accumulated depreciation. The $100,000, it says leasehold improvements. That could also be an actual building. If you're renting, it might be leasehold improvements if you're improving the space. But if you own the building outright, it could just be a building there. And then accumulated depreciation is subtracted off of that to give you a net number. So those are assets, okay? And a lot of people like to think that the things they own, like their material things they own, are their assets. And they are to some degree, but a lot of times the bank owns some of those assets. So if you look at the right side of this balance sheet, on the top right, you'll see current liabilities, accounts payable, 49 grand, accrued expenses, unearned revenue. So that's actually revenue you've received that actually isn't earned yet. So that's why it's sitting as a liability. So you have current assets, and then you have long-term liabilities, and that might be a mortgage on a property or just a long-term loan or note. So you'll see total liabilities of $149,950. So you have assets of $171,900, but you owe $149,900. So guess what? The worth of this company really comes down to the equity down here, where you see retained earnings of $11,950, common stock of $10. So even though the balance sheet totals $171,900, the real net worth of this business is $21,950. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. I'll take questions at the end, by the way. I'll open it up for questions at the end. I also thought I would throw in just a personal balance sheet. So there might be people, maybe some of you don't own a business yet or are just thinking about it. The same thing applies to a personal balance sheet. So in this situation, you see the assets on the left, cash, cars, furniture, house stocks. We think those are our assets, but if you look on the right, we owe a lot. So our equity is actually $400,000 in this scenario. So we have, charge cards of $5, auto loan of $20, a mortgage of $285. Your net worth, even though it looks like you have $710 in assets, your net worth is the $400 grand. This is an example of an income statement. And again, these are simple and, maybe nowhere near what your situation looks like. It might be more complicated, but I'm trying to kind of get it down to a basic level to explain it to people. A profit and loss statement or an income statement is basically just what you're bringing in minus what you're spending. And this is always an interesting part of the financial statements because it's generally pretty easy to look at, well, easy for a nerd like me. It's easy to look at this and see things that look out of character or don't look so right. So I can look up here and I can see, okay, product sales of 25, services of 11, so revenue of 37. Cost of goods sold, this is the cost of goods sold. It's actually the expense that goes into making the actual product. So it's not administrative expenses. It's not the operating expenses below. So for example, if you were manufacturing, let's say you were manufacturing cars. You're a manufacturer of cars. The cost of goods sold would be everything that goes into making that particular product. So it would include the material you're buying for the parts, part of the labor, the labor force goes into cost of goods sold. So it's actually the hardcore material and labor that goes into creating that product. It wouldn't necessarily be the administrative staff or the accounting staff salaries or the rent on the building or the warehouse. Does that make sense? So cost of goods sold is 13. So you have gross profit of 23.8. But then from that, you also have some more expenses. So you've got wages, rent, utilities, all of those kind of more administrative or operating type expenses. Yeah, so that's a general income statement. Oh, and this is a picture of my daughter, Elise. I have a funny story here to talk about. When she was in first grade, this is a picture of her when she was in first grade, and it was career day in first grade. So parents had to go in and talk about what they did. And I thought, oh, great. Like, what the heck do I talk about? And so I thought, well, I'm an accountant. I'm going to hit them where it hurts and appeal to their interest. So I set up a candy store in her first grade class, and I made them, I had them selling candy. I brought a bunch of penny candy in. I had them calculate gross revenue and gross profit and cost of goods sold. I had them calculate those things. It was really a blast. So fast forward, like probably 20 years, and across the street from me moves this young girl, and I go over and introduce myself, and her mom's there, and she says, the mother says, "Do you have a daughter named Elise?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she says, "I'm Mrs. Engel, and you had the candy store." So that was so long ago, but I guess I made an impression on this first grade class. But the funnier part was my daughter, who's super intelligent. She's a bioengineering, that was her major in college. She's working for a medical device company. But when I told her the story about meeting Mrs. Engel, she said, "Mom," she goes, "that's the extent of the accounting I know is what you taught me in the candy store." So I thought, it made me realize that, when you're in a profession for so long, we all think everybody knows the basic stuff that we know, but they really don't. So I'm trying to share that with you just to make you realize you probably know a lot more about your profession too. But I also started to realize that I really have to get basic, because people don't know this stuff. And why the heck would you if you weren't interested in it from the get-go? So that's my story of Elise. And this is my son, Brian. I had to be fair here and get pictures of both of them in here. This is Brian in sophomore year. He was struggling with his accounting class, so I actually went to Penn State to help him study. So I get it. This is not fun for everybody. Anyway, that may be a picture of you. Do you feel like that when you're dealing with numbers and taxes and anything financial? So if that's you, you have to get help. All right, mistake number 3. It dovetails right into this one, is trying to do it all. And I'm guilty of this myself, and I'm learning to just be able to focus on what I do best, what I like to do, and get rid of the rest. And so this is something that is so important. And sometimes we struggle because we have so much on our plate. We're trying to save money. We don't want to spend money for professionals, but I'm telling you, it's so worth it. And one of my gurus, one of my mentors, actually, that I've never met, but I absolutely love this guy. I am a Richard Kosh groupie. You pronounce his name Kosh, K-O-S-H, spelled that way though with a C. He is the author of the 80-20 principle, and was also a very successful management consultant for Bain for many years. I have the CD of this book, and I swear to God, I have listened to the audio probably 50 times. I glean something new from it all the time. So I highly, highly, highly recommend this book. And in this book, Richard talks about focusing on your 20% spike. You know, it's what you do better than anybody else. It's what you do better than 80% of the people, probably 95% of the people, I should say. But your 20% spike is where you need to focus your energy. And a lot of this book is focused on getting more with less, which I'm all about, right? Don't we all want more with less? You know, more money with less effort, more happiness with less, you know, strife and struggle. I'm all about that. So the way that you do that is to really focus on your genius, and then maybe spend more time doing that. I mean, you're probably familiar with the 80-20 principle. You know, it's that 80% of your results are going to come from 20% of your effort. You know, you're going to walk on 20% of the carpet in your home. You're going to wear 20% of your clothes, that kind of thing. But the best thing about the book is it's about all aspects of your life. So it talks about how to create more with less in your family life too, in your personal life. Do you know who this is? This is Steven Spielberg. And Richard's got a great story in his book on how, you know, Steven Spielberg had tremendous focus on what he wanted to do. You know, he was so intent on being a director. You know, when he was a kid, he walked onto the set of a movie, got into a trailer, put his name on the trailer, you know, Steven Spielberg, director. So he role played, but he was very focused on what he wanted and left everything else go. You know, wasn't into sports, wasn't into the typical things the kids are into, really just focused on what he did best. And the result was that he became very, very successful. My daughter's texting me. We can't see or can see. Can't see? Let me know if you can't. At least you're saying we can see or we cannot see. Let me go back here for a second. You know, someone let me know if you can see my screen. Kathleen, if you're on, let me know if you can see my screen. I'm going to assume you can if I don't hear it from anybody. I'm using this new software with Webinar Jam, which actually links with Google Hangouts. So there's an interaction between Webinar Jam and Google Hangouts. Okay, I'm going to assume you guys can see. Go back to my PowerPoint. There's my two kids. Aren't they cute? Okay. And this is a diagram. This is a picture of geese. And there's a great poem called Lessons from Geese. I was going to read it to you, but I don't think I'm going to have time to do that. But it's all about how geese fly in formation and help each other. So when the first goose gets tired, it goes back to the end of the formation and the other ones pick up the slack. So it's all about teamwork, and that's Lessons from Geese. Here's how to get more with less. So I mentioned that Richard's very much into this more with less thing. And this is how you get more with less. This is how you really maximize and explode your profits and still work part-time, all right? So first of all, you work in your 20% spike. So you find out, and this is what I help my clients do, is actually discover their spike, their niche, their core genius, and what they absolutely do better than anything. And hopefully it's what you like to do too. Normally it's what you like to do also. So assuming that, you know, 20% of your efforts are contributing 80% of your results, what you do is find that 20%, and it should coincide with what you like to do best anyway. So then you double it. So now you're working 40%, and then you get rid of the rest. So you take that 60% that is not result producing, that's not helping you get any results, and you get rid of it. I know it's easier said than done. Trust me, it's a work in progress for me as well. But that is really how you get more with less. And I suggest reading his book because it's very effective on just how to get more with less in all aspects of your life. It's not all about money and your business. It's how to get more with less in all ways. Okay, we're on to mistake number 4. And this is not investing properly. Not investing properly. And so I mentioned in the webinar video that I had, where I invited everyone, that I would talk about where to invest and where not to invest. And when I say invest, I mean where to put your money, how to spend your money. And the first thing I want you to understand too is that, money is energy. I am an energy freak, so I am kind of obsessed with all things energy related. In spite of the fact I'm a nerd, okay? In spite of the fact I'm a nerd, I am obsessed with everything energy related. Money is energy. So the basic premise is that put your energy, put your money where you value, where you have value, or what you value. One of the tools that I use to help my clients is actually having them do a value and time and money assessment where they come up with their values, their 4 or 5 top values, and then we look at their life and see, hey, are you spending your time and money in accordance with what you say your values are? And that's really pretty enlightening. So not investing properly. Here's some great ways to invest. Anything related to improving you as a person, assuming you're the owner of your business, anything that is related to your personal growth. So coaching, mentoring. I have had a coach since 2002, and I have had more success in that time than any time prior to that. And mainly because managing ourselves is hard. Managing our self-management is tough. It really helps to have someone accountable, to have someone to be accountable to. Very effective. Anything that has to do with creating value for your customer. So you want to always, be of service and give. So anything related to that is obviously very powerful. Hiring professionals. I can't tell you how important this is and how short-sighted some people are when it comes to this. I had a friend who had a very successful business. She actually became a client and came to me one day with a pretty basic partnership tax question. And now I haven't done partnership work for years, since the early 80s. I know enough to be dangerous, but I knew enough to tell her, hey, that is not right. What you've got going on is just not right. And here, the person that she had hired as an attorney was also doing their tax work. And I said, oh no, that is not going to work. And so I ended up referring her to a friend of mine who owns another accounting firm, got her all straightened out. So my point is that you will reap the benefits by hiring professionals. You will get your money back so many times over. So just hire them and just get over it. Realize that it's money being put on something you value, which is building your business and being professional about it, and just spend the money there. Your community, your personal growth. Okay, not so great ways to invest your money. We're going to talk a little bit later about just scarcity versus abundance mentality and what that means. Some of that, will affect how you're spending your money. Not so great ways to invest your money. First of all, I have expensive or unproven marketing. And I include in here something that I always think about. One of my mentors is Tom Antion, who's an internet marketing guru and well-known speaker. And he says a lot of people fall into the pretty website syndrome. Spend a lot of money on a website that looks pretty but doesn't do anything for you. So he's all about making it simple. And so again, anything that's not proven in a marketing perspective, don't go overboard. Really focus on what's going to build the business instead of spending money on kind of fluffy or peripheral stuff that really isn't result producing to grow the business. And that's something that's I like to help clients with too, is like, what really moves your business forward? Is it really sitting on Facebook and Twitter? Probably not. It's probably getting out there and meeting people. So focusing on that is important. Don't get convinced to spend money where it's really not effective. Office space before you need it. Bricks and mortar places are going out of business, as fast as they are probably created, because we're in the age of internet marketing. I mean, even the stores that are bricks and mortar now, you go into a big box store and try to find something, half the time it's not even there. You have to order it online anyway. So don't go overboard with getting space, with either buying a building or renting space you don't really need until you really need it. Build the business first, because when you get into buying a place in particular, not everyone will buy office space or buy a building, but that's a whole nother business, right? Then you're into real estate. You're into the real estate business. So make sure you're building the core business before you go and add on another business, because that's what it is. Overloading on inventory, buying too much, before it's sold. Just-in-time inventory has been like a huge, technology advance for a lot of companies, and you just don't want to buy anything you're not going to move fast. Overinvest. Okay, mistake number 5 is, I call it, you're in scarcity mode. And this is, a lot of this has to do with how we're raised and our programming. We're raised with a lot of, hopefully, great stuff. Hopefully we have a lot of great programming from our parents, but, we're humans. So we all are picking up fears and anxieties and limiting beliefs from our parents, from our peers, from just other adults in our family. And then we kind of pick them up ourselves. We do a number on ourselves too. So in scarcity mode, this is how you view the world, right? You view the resources as limited. So it's like, I have to get my share of the pie because it's limited. So I want my piece before you get yours. So you don't have yours. It's a very restrictive view of the universe and of resources. The focus is on cost control. I'm worried about, I'm watching my pennies, right? I'm making sure I don't spend money, even if it would advance my business. So the focus is not putting money into good or optimal ways or optimal things in your business. It's really all about saving money and kind of squeezing water from a turnip, if that's the right phrase. You're a saver. You're saving your money. You're hoarding, you're pillaging, you're taking more than you need. And it's a very you against them kind of mentality. Abundance mentality is the pie can get bigger, the resources are unlimited. The focus is on being of service. You are sharing without expectation and without being attached to the result. And you're investing with a return. You're investing where you expect to, you invest in areas of your business that you value, right? And we're all in this together. We're not separate from each other. If that doesn't make sense, that's okay. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But this will, the difference between a leader who's got the abundance mentality versus the scarcity mentality plays out in a lot of ways. Here's another chart I had found that kind of talks about the differences. And you'll see on the right side, I mean, this is the kind of business you want to create. This would be the kind of environment you would want to work in, kind of business, kind of company you would want to work for. The other one is like very passe, isn't it? Like this is the hierarchy type of management. I've got to have my, I've got to have my fingers on you at all times. I've got to make sure I focus or control you. So it's not where we want to be. It doesn't sound very pretty, does it? I found this chart by this guy. I hope he doesn't mind if I used it, helping promote him, so I hope not. But this reminded me of Stephen Covey's quadrant. But look at the top right. The top right is where you want to be. So you want to think big and you want to play big, right? The top left is ignorance. Think small, but I'm going to play big. That doesn't work. The bottom, scarcity, is you think small and you play small. So you are constricted in how you're living in fear. A lot of scarcity mentality is living in fear and having limiting beliefs about what you can and cannot do. And we're all embedded with this stuff. It's all very subconscious. You don't really know what it is or why it is. You just know the results. You're not happy. You're not making money in your business. So, but scarcity comes from fear generally. Think big and playing small is just arrogance. So it's thinking you're big, but not really delivering and not being of service. Mistake number 6, not understanding energy. And hopefully this makes sense to everyone. What this means is that we are impacted by things around us, right? And that we are really kind of affected by not just other people, but we're affected by our environment. And it really can set us up for success or failure. If you read any of, let's say Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, any of the spiritual gurus that I'm into, they talk about the field of potentiality, and it's the sense that we're not really separate from each other. I was going to I actually looked for a video clip to insert here, but I'll just send you to YouTube to find it. There's Jill Bolte Taylor was a brain scientist who had a stroke and actually knew as she was going through the stroke that she was having the stroke. She's like, wow, isn't this really cool? I'm a brain scientist and I'm getting to experience, like, on the inside what a stroke looks like. And the essence of the whole experience was she lost the left side of her brain, which is the analytical, the planning part of the brain. So she lost that piece of her brain. It was going in and out, and because she lost that part of the brain, the right brain was kicking in. And it's the right brain, that doesn't see you as separate. She couldn't even see the molecules of her hand as separate from the molecules in the room. I mean, it must have been wild. But so the essence is we're not separate really from anything. We're all in this together. We're all connected. The field of potentiality is where you tap into the higher consciousness of the universe and the higher mind to really, first of all, determine maybe where you should be in life, what you should be doing, but it also taps you into this creative power that you have, because we have so much creative power that we don't really understand it and we don't tap into its potential. So we have to really kind of own our power. We have to own how creative we are and just how much we can create once we get out of our own way. That's really what it is. We can be very powerful and create so much, but we just have to kind of get out of our own way and really heal a lot of our subconscious stuff. I love this. This is a short section of a longer passage by Marianne Williamson from her book, A Return to Love, which is based on A Course in Miracles. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. I had this posted on my refrigerator at home for years. And my son, Brian, at the time, I forget how old he was. I want to say 14, 15. He was kind of early in high school. And one day he says to me, hey, Mom, he goes, that poem you have on the refrigerator? He's like, I really like that. And I thought, I think we all resonate with this, because I think we all deep down, know that's what we fear. And you'll hear people sometimes say that they have a fear of success, and it sounds so sounds so ridiculous. Like, well, how could that be? Like, I don't fear success. That's so ridiculous or so far-fetched. But it's really not. And if we look deep enough, sometimes we do have this fear of success. Like, we do wonder what's going to happen if we're successful. You know, will we lose our freedom? Will we lose our time freedom? Will we lose our independence? Will we lose our privacy? So kind of have to own that we may be afraid of our own success. This is a takeoff on the Beach Boys song, Good, Good, Good Vibrations. So, okay, the law of attraction. I'm a law of attraction junkie too. And the whole concept of law of attraction, which, you know, it's getting a lot of press now, and it's becoming kind of a buzzword, but this concept is not new, all right? It's been around for a long time. So the whole concept is like attracts like. So like energy attracts like energy. And the universe is not judging. It just matches your vibration. So I'll give you an example. If you are miserable, all right, let's say you're just miserable. You're not happy. You're complaining a lot. I know it's none of you guys, but you probably know people like that. So if you're like that, well, guess what? The universe just matches that vibration. So it's going to provide you with more opportunities to be miserable and unhappy. So the goal is to increase your vibrational energy. And there's a lot of stuff on this. I have a lot of tools to help people with this. Being in a state of gratitude is one. There are lots of things you can do to increase your vibrational energy level so that you do attract what you want. Because guess what? Most of the stuff that we want in life resonates at a very high level. So one of my favorite authors is David Hawkins. I love this guy. Wrote Power versus Force years ago, but it's all about calibrating energy levels. His latest book is Letting Go, which is awesome. But he's calibrated different emotions, and the things that we want, you know, energy, love and joy and happiness, they all calibrate at really high levels. So you have to be there too in order to attract those things in your life. So if you want the higher energy types of things in your life, you've got to get there too. So you're not going to attract, you know, joy, happiness, gratitude, fulfillment. You're not going to attract those if you're in the lower energies of shame, fear, anger, guilt. Okay, makes sense? The Secret was a popular book that's been out for a while now, the movie. So it kind of popularized this whole concept. But as I mentioned earlier, it's not new stuff. It's been around for a long time. I am not a Bible scholar, but there is something in there, I think, about, you know, as you think, so shall you be. I'm pretty sure, right? So it's not new stuff. And as I like to say, all this quote unquote new age stuff is like ancient stuff, right? It's not new at all. Catch up on my notes here. Where are we? Okay, intention without attachment. This is another challenge for you. So this is how you manifest and create what you want in life, right? So you set your intention. Setting your intention is very, very important. But you know, this has to go back to goal setting. So when you set goals, when you create a vision of what you want to be in life or what you want, a mission statement for your company, you know, you're setting the intention. How it happens, though, is that then you have to surrender to how it shows up. Because if we go back to the law of attraction, when you're in a state of want, like you want something, say, the universe will match that too, and it'll always keep you wanting. So the way that you manifest what you do want, it's not that you don't set goals, and it's not that you don't set intentions, but you set it and let it go. And then you surrender to how it shows up, because guess what? Our brains and our minds are limited. So we don't want to limit how it shows up. It could show up better than what we had ever imagined. So we need to get out of our way, right? We need to get out of our thought process and let it show up maybe better than how we could have pictured it in our minds. the way you do that is just falling in love with the process, getting into just enjoying the process, enjoying the daily action steps that you take to get there, and staying in the now. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's an awesome book about being present. And this is all much more mainstream too. There's a lot of mindfulness training going on now. That's, in corporate America, being mindful. My latest book that I'm in love with, actually two books by Pam Grout, E Squared and E Cubed, are great. You have to go buy them right now. They have all these energy experiments. So E stands for energy, and she makes you do things like, in the next 48 hours, set an intention with the universe, tell the universe you want to see, I actually did this. So I said, okay, you think of something really strange that you would know that it works if you see this thing. So I said, okay, next 48 hours, I want to see a parrot, P-A-R-R-O-T. So sure enough, I see a parrot. End of day 2, I'm out walking. I hear this crazy bird. I look up, the freaking parrot. So it worked. And it also happened, I did it again. I needed my car was going on the blink. My car that I've had for a while transmission was slipping. And I said, okay, universe, if I need a new car, you got 48 hours. And this worked even better. I got it in 24 hours. Took it to the mechanic in the morning. He said, ditch this thing. It's like transmission's the least of your problems. I said, okay. I took it, went to his referral of a car dealer, got a new car, less than 24 hours actually. So you got to read Pam Grout's books. It's all about setting the intention and really kind of appreciating just how powerful of a manifester you are. You're probably wondering, like, what the heck does this have to do with the financial mistakes that business owners make? This is it. These are the financial mistakes that business owners make. They don't understand this stuff, right? They live in scarcity. They don't set their intention. They don't appreciate where they are. They're too hung up in attachment to things and where they want to be. So this might not sound financial, but this is going to shift everything for you. I mean, honestly, it has shifted everything for me. And I've been able to manifest some amazing stuff without working very hard. That's the other myth I should mention too. Creating lots of money does not have to be hard. That is an outdated paradigm. We live in this, our Protestant work ethic in this country is so embedded and so embedded in the culture. It may take a couple of generations to get rid of that, but honestly, it doesn't have to be hard. It can be very easy. We just think it has to be hard. And so because we think it has to be hard and drudgery and struggle, it is. It doesn't have to be. So release that thought process too, that it has to be hard. Mistake number 7. And this is what I call the big kahuna. This is not being aware of your subconscious programming. So you can do steps 1. You can do all the financial steps really well. You could set goals. You can understand numbers. You can work on your 20% niche. And you can even be a great, student of the law of attraction. But if you aren't able to reprogram some of your subconscious programming, specifically with being related to money, you will be stuck and you'll be frustrated. And, we all have subconscious programming around money. It can be, programming related to income levels. We keep vows sometimes to our family and to our parents. If our parents never earn much money, sometimes we keep vows, subconscious vows, of course, VOWS, as to what we can and cannot make, right? They can also be issues around money can be related to debt. Do you have weird ideas about debt? Even if you're debt free. I was doing it's called a money map. I was doing a money map with a client the other day, and she was not in debt, and her Husband made a lot of money. They had no really financial issues, but she had this issue with debt. She realized she had this emotional issue with debt, surrounding debt. So even on the surface, you may not have something, but once you start triggering emotions and ask people how they feel about certain things, they can come up. Okay, so debt, income, and savings. It can be related around savings too. So you might have subconscious programming around savings. If your parents struggled a lot, and I have one client whose parents, it was feast or famine. When they had the money, they spent it, and then they were always complaining and in misery when they didn't have it. So she grew up with a lot of deep-seated crap, that she had to get over. That, I don't have to like relive that stuff. I can reprogram my stuff. So this really is where the rubber meets the road, and where you can really shift your life in all areas. Okay. Our conscious mind, of our total mind, conscious mind is 15%. And I'm kind of being generous here because I've seen a lot of statistics that say it's only 5%. Subconscious mind is then 85 to 95% of your mind. So think about this, okay? You are like trying to get ahead in life. You're setting goals. You're trying to do what you need to do. You want to be successful. You're doing everything every guru is telling you to do, but you're struggling. Okay. Well, it could be that your poor little conscious mind is being sabotaged by this subconscious programming. It will do you in. Okay. And you're programmed by the age of 7. So by the age of 7, most of the programming is set in there. Another great book on this is called The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton, PhD guy. Very good. So most of our negative programming that happens by the age of 7, and like I said, I'm sure we all have a lot of great programming. I had 2 wonderful parents, but I know I have subconscious programming that needs reprogrammed, because they're human too, and they're the product of their parents' fears and limiting beliefs. So it's inevitable that we have this stuff, just some of us more than others, right? And what we don't pick up from our parents, we're getting from our peers, or we're getting from just other adults in our lives, our teachers, mentors. And then, sure enough and soon enough, we're doing it to ourselves. Our own mind is like creating a bunch of stuff that is not true. I saw a great bumper sticker once that said, it's been one of my favorites all these years. And it says, "Don't believe everything you think." I thought, so true. So here's a picture. This is an iceberg, obviously, or obvi, as my kids would say. So the top part is your conscious mind, bottom part is your subconscious mind. So that picture is a great, visual, because your conscious mind can totally be at the mercy of the subconscious programming. But the great news is, well, before I give you the great news, the results can be frustration, self-sabotage, struggling, hitting a plateau. You can't get past a certain level. I used to listen to a lot of Brian Tracy, who's a very kind of a big sales guru, and he would always talk about this too. He would say, if your income meter is set to let's say you're in sales and your income meter is set to like 50 grand a year, that's what you need to make. Okay. If you haven't made that by December, you are busting butt all year to get there. But if you make 50 by March, you're cruising the rest of the year. So subconsciously you're done because you hit your money plateau, you hit your money income level. And so you need to reset that, but you might have that because of subconscious vows. The great news is that you can shift this, all right? And I've experienced a lot of these shifts myself. I've been a meditation student for many, many years. It's been amazing for me. Meditation solves so many problems. So just start. I mean, honestly, I will recommend certain things. Just reach out to me. I have several different, just simple meditations, 15, 20-minute long meditations that will help you. Meditation does so much. It will reduce your stress. It will help you connect to your inner guidance. It will help you connect to your purpose in life if that matters to you. It'll help you reprogram your stuff. So there are so many reasons for it. And in today's world, we all need some way to de-stress and just kind of connect with ourselves. We're so lost. Something called the peace process. This is an awesome technique that I've been blessed to have known for probably almost a year now. This is Christian Michelson's process for flushing emotions. And you'll hear the talk about connecting with your emotions, not suppressing them and not repressing them. But the peace process is just a way of processing them without getting into your story. You just help people find it in their body, because all of our emotions are in our cells. It's in our body somewhere. So the peace process is a simple way of just helping you process the emotion very effectively, very simply, without having to get into a story. And you can help other people do the same thing without getting into their story. Someone's stressed out. You don't have to know the gory details. And sometimes it's almost better if you don't, right? But it's a very simple way of processing emotions that then releases stuff. It's incredible. It's helped me so much in the past year, and I've had some major shifts in my life in the past year. And I continue to do this daily. Another great tool is EFT. It stands for the Emotional Freedom Technique, but it's also been commonly referred to now as tapping. Another one of my mentors right now, I'm in a lot of different programs right now, so paying a lot of coaches and mentors, is Margaret Lynch. So I'm in the process of being certified in her program as a tapping into wealth coach. EFT is, you basically just tap. It's almost like, another way to describe it, it's almost like acupuncture without the needles. So you're tapping on certain parts of your body and hitting certain meridian points, but it affects your nervous system. And it's very, very effective in kind of reprogramming your subconscious too. So there's different tapping scripts that you can use. And I help clients with that too, is I take them through a money map, and then I help them with this tapping script that's personalized for them and helps them clear their stuff based on what they need to do. Affirmations is another one. And, any affirmation, so be very careful, I'll tell you this much, because there's lots of information on affirmations too. Anything you say after I am, anything you say after I am is identifying you, is personalizing you. It's creating who you are. Okay, so I am grateful. I am happy. You want affirmations. Be careful what you say. I am, I am so pathetic. I am so bad at presenting. I suck at such and such. Okay, be very careful what you say, because those are affirmations that are building your self-esteem and your identity. So be careful how you do that. Hypnotherapy is another great tool too. And I'm not talking about, the hypnotist waving a pendulum in front of your eyeballs and making you do something that you wouldn't do while you were conscious. Hypnotherapy is really just a form of guided meditation, is really what hypnotherapy is. You're not going to do anything you wouldn't do consciously. No worries there. Okay. So, are you ready to make a change? I'm going to open it up for questions in a little bit, but I wanted to see where you are. Hopefully, you got some information that was helpful to you. And so are you ready to change? Life's short. So we all need help to succeed. This has been one of my probably biggest paradigm shifts over the past probably decade, is that, we can't do it ourselves. We want to be successful. We need a team of people to help us. And I've also been very humbled by how effective, a mentor or a coach can be for me. There's just something about knowing you have a call coming up and get you to do what you're supposed to do. And it's always good to get an objective perspective too. That's very important. And I'm committed to helping you. So I've got a course, I've got an offer for you. And I call it my Small Business Big Profits online course. And I mentioned that I'm all about helping you create wealth, create profits in your business, working the hours you want. That is my shtick. It does not have to be hard. I am really with Richard Koch in the less is more mentality. This does not have to be tough. We just think it has to be. So let me share with you what's included in the course. First of all, we are going to get a crystal clear, you'll get crystal clear on your direction and action plan. So you are going to get more focused. We're going to decide and figure out what actually the correct direction is for you. You know, if you're not happy in what you're doing, maybe you need to change that. You know, maybe you need to make a big shift and do something you love. You know, another way to really manifest what you love is to increase the percentage of time in your day that you spend doing stuff you love. So the more you can do that, the more you vibrate better, the higher your vibrations are, and the more you start manifesting what you want. So we're going to get you into action, but not wasting any time, knowing exactly what to do and waking up excited so that reaching your goals is not a struggle. It's something you want to do. That's the key. Step 2 is understanding, well, your financials. I'm missing an R there. So I'm going to help you understand your financials. And if you are not a business owner yet, oh, and I forgot a poll. Let me see. Well, I'll do that later. I forgot to do my poll about where people are in their business, how big their businesses are. Let me do that now. Let me see if I can do that now. Hang on, people. Okay, let's see. Polls. Okay. First of all, let me ask this question. Is this making any sense to you? Okay. I'm starting a poll, and there is a delay, so I'll wait for your answers. Is this making sense to you? Oh, I think I'm sharing my screen too. I shouldn't be doing that. I think I sent a poll. I'm hoping you guys get that. Yes, yay, 100%. Okay. Let me go to another one. Here's another poll. Asking how large is your business? So, you know, is it just you? Is it less than 10 employees? Is it more than 10 employees? My feeling was that most of you guys were just, you know, either solopreneurs or maybe individual business owners with some help, you know, maybe a VA. Okay. Okay, final poll for now. I'm going to load another one that says, what is your biggest issue right now? I figured time and money were the key ones. Okay, great. 33% say money, 67% said not enough time. Okay. Okay, let me go back to sharing my screen now so that we can finish up. Okay, so the second thing we're going to cover is helping you understand your financials so that you will at least have an understanding, a basic understanding of what yours mean. I'm going to help you learn some of the lingo, some of the terminology that you might need to talk to your CPA or banker. So it can be an intimidating thing to talk financials with these types of people, or with anyone for that matter. So I want to help you get some clarity and just learn some basic stuff there that will have you feeling, like a rock star when it comes to your finances. The third thing is discovering your 20% spike. So I have some tools that help people discover that and really spend some time. One of the things I like to do is just spend some time really delving into what makes people tick, what makes you tick, what you love to do, what you're doing now that you love to do, what you love to do that you're not doing, what you don't love to do that you're doing way too much of. It's a lot of people. And the key to getting at your core spike is it also preserves your energy. So if you can simplify where you focus your energy, first of all, that gives you more energy for everything else in your life. And again, your business is just a piece of it. And it also helps you get more with less. It really does. Sound good? The fourth thing we're going to do is figure out, where you should be investing your money. So what is right for your business? And also, I can do a review to kind of quickly look at your financials, or if your business is small or just starting, I'm happy to help you with your personal financials too, and look to see where, you might be able to save some money, or maybe where you might get some tax advantage, or some, like my history, most of my career in the financial world has been in the tax field. So that's one of my core niches is in tax. So I can help you with that too. Look for tax deductions, and also teach you ways to always know where to spend your money. How would you like that, to know, to test and be able to know without a doubt if you should be making a certain expenditure? I can teach you a tool for that. Step 5 is we're going to teach you how to shift into abundance mode. So we'll do an assessment to see where you are now, and really how it's impacted you, how it's impacted your life, how it's impacted your business, and give you some simple tools for shifting it and things you can do on a daily basis. And one of the tips is one of the things you can do right now is just start a gratitude journal. That is a simple thing. You buy a journal, right? Do it online. I guess you can. I'm sure there's an app for that now, but I did mine in just a little paper journal. But you write down 5 things every morning that you're grateful for, and they can be, small to big. So that's a really great way to kind of shift your energy right away in the morning. 6 is going to be harnessing your power for money. So owning your power, realizing how much energy you have to create what you want in life. First, we're going to really see what's sapping your energy now. What's depleting your energy? What areas of your life could you shift to open up space for what you want in life? Whether it's, more time for your family or more time for things you enjoy, exercise, health. Those were always big on my goal statements and on my vision boards, having time for that. How to manifest what you want and getting okay with playing big. This has been interesting. I have, over the past year, I have plans to go big, right? But I also realized I had some, inner stuff that was like, geez, like that whole fear of success thing. I don't know if I had fear of success, but I knew I had some like body kinks. So I processed them anyway, just in case, because I think I had some issues there with like playing big. So getting okay with that, processing some of the subconscious stuff that's maybe preventing you from playing as big a game as you want. And releasing the subconscious blocks, discovering what yours are. That's always interesting, huh? How do you really know? How do you know what your subconscious blocks are if they're subconscious? You don't. You just know, possibly based on symptoms in your life. So as I mentioned earlier, maybe you're unhappy in a relationship, maybe your business is struggling, maybe you're having health issues. There's so many things that could be symptoms of this. So we'll discover what yours are, and I have some cool tools for that. Cool tools. Connecting the dots on, symptoms in your life to what can be the underlying subconscious block, and the latest technologies for clearing that. So here's what the program will be. It's going to be monthly virtual classes, specifically designed to address the needs of everyone. So I will see who is in the class first, and then basically customize a class around that. It's going to be 7 weeks too. I'm not sure if I put that in here, but seven classes, 1 a week. Access to all of my books and reports, which are focused on creating a wealth and abundance in all areas of your life. So I'll give you access to all of that. I have several ebooks that are all about that, and reports, and also my assessments and worksheets to help you with all aspects of the course. There'll be homework with a lot of this, so tools for helping you get to your 20% spike, assessments for how to see if you're spending your time and money in accordance with your values. So all kinds of good stuff. You get access to all of that. And I will also make available my full list of resources on things such as public speaking, internet marketing, writing, money management, and investing. I've got lots of resources, and I'm happy to share them all with you. And also I have a long book recommendation list too. I'll share that with you. And I've added some bonuses for you just because you're live on this call. So the first bonus is going to be a financial statement and tax return review and recommendations. So I worked for Deloitte & Touche for many years. I spent most of my career with Deloitte & Touche, and before that, Westinghouse. And this is probably underestimating the value, but it's at least worth $1,500 because of my expertise and the number of years I've been in the field. So that's yours for free. I will look at your statements, whether they're business financial statements or personal financial statements, and give you recommendations, what I see that can maybe help you right away. Also, a 90-minute business breakthrough strategy session, valued at $500. So we'll spend time kind of helping you get to, get some clarity around why you want what you want, or why you think get to what it is you really want, and if it's going to serve your purposes long term. So here's the value. Here's the value recap is $1,850 for the 7-week course. Financial review $1,500, $500. Total value is at least $3,850. But I've got special pricing for you because you're on the call, and so here's my deal for you. It's one full pay of $457, or you can make 3 monthly payments of $187. I'm going to stop the screen share and open up these offers so you could click on them. And then we'll go to questions. And thanks for attending. Appreciate you being here. Let me get these things up. Okay. Oops. You there? You can start it. If anyone wants to ask any questions, you can do that. I'm going to. I don't know if it's showing. Any questions, anyone? There we go. There's my offer showing now for the full pay. That's the Small Business Big Profits full pay option, which is $457. I don't know. I couldn't get these on one link. I'm not sure if I can show them both at the same time, but I have the, I'll be able to send this information to you via email too if this doesn't work for some reason, but I'm going to also display the other offer. Okay. Let me put the other offer up there too for the sorry gang, hang in there. Okay, let me show the other one. This is the install. I should have the installment one up there now. So that's 3 payments of $187. Yes, someone asked too. I think it was John. These slides. So I'll send you a link with all of the slides and any of my notes. I can absolutely do that. And let me know if you have any questions. I don't see any comments or questions. So I'm going to end it here. Thanks so much for being here with me, and hope to see you all soon. Take care.